Hi, my name is Monica Alford. I'm the founder and CEO of Wildside Media, and I'm very excited. This is my first interview at Legacy Sessions, so thanks to the Legacy team for having us. And I wanted to bring in and interview my dear friend and frequent collaborator, Campagna, who has her first solo show at Legacy DC that opens this Saturday, March 16th. So welcome, Kate.
Thank you. I feel welcome.
I'm glad. Can you start by telling us a little bit about this show, what it's called and how long it'll be up and all the good stuff?
Sure.
The nuts and bolts.
The nuts and bolts, if you insist, is so the name of the show is called Earworm, and an earworm is basically getting a catchy tune stuck in your head. But I feel like that idea I wanted to expand more on. I feel like this has been a tough year for everybody, and everyone's carrying a lot of baggage and a lot of, past trauma and, I guess reaching for personal growth and things like that. So there's been a lot of self-reflection and things of that nature. And so what are you carrying with you? What are affirmations you're either repeating to yourself or what's the negative that you're carrying with you, which I kind of have a habit of holding on to things real friggin' tight unnecessarily, which is part of the show. It's
welcome to adulthood.
I gotta get it out. So basically expanding on the idea of getting a song stuck in your head, what's your mood that you're getting stuck in your head, or what are these things that you're saying to yourself repetitively? So the hook. And so the show's about that. The show's about what are you carrying, what are you holding on to, what's sticking with you. And I feel to help kind of push through all these uncomfortable feelings that can happen with personal growth and everything else. I've listened to a lot of music. I feel like music really determines and can really create a mood. It can pull you out of something. It can put you into something.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It feels good walking down the street with a good song. You know what I mean? It makes you feel kind of empowered. I can do it.
Yeah.
I got it.
100%.
But
it's your own soundtrack.
A little bit, yeah. And I mean, everyone's their own main character,
Oh yeah, that main character energy. I feel like that's the thing. That's what all the kids are saying these days.
Yeah, it's me. But yeah, so the show opening is the 16th, and it's going to be mostly new work. I would say it's 80% new work, and any older work has been kind of reworked a little bit, so it's had its own personal growth, if you will.
Yeah.
And then there will also be a closing, which is going to be March 30th. And that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to release some new merch. And I don't want to give up too much, but, there's going to be some wearable stuff. There's going to be something for everyone, something for every price point, because I feel very strongly, and I think you do too, that art should be accessible.
100%.
So I think there's going to be something for everyone there. If you like color, great. If you like puns, great. If you have dark humor, come on by.
Yeah. That actually, I feel like that's a little bit of your tagline right there. That should be on a business card for you one day.
I need to work on a business card.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. Okay, well, I feel like I probably should have started with what kind of art you make and a little bit about you and your mark on the DC art scene. But before I do that, Earworms, you said it's a catchy tune. What do you call it when a shitty song's stuck in your head? A really annoying one that you're why is this happening to me?
I mean,
is that also an earworm?
I think it's also an earworm. I guess it doesn't necessarily have to be catchy, but I mean, if it sticks with you,
it is catchy.
It is kind of catchy, But I even get phrases stuck in my head sometimes. Yeah, it doesn't even have to be a song, Well, now I've never thought a thought in my life. I can't think of an example.
It'll come to you later.
But I'll just blurt it out.
Yeah. I was just curious because I feel like I get songs that I don't want to have stuck in my head, stuck in my head a lot, and ones that I really love. But yeah, I don't like that about brains.
Yeah.
What is before I go back to full journalism land? What is one song that has been an earworm for you this week while you've been putting things together for the show?
In Deep's A DJ Saved My Life.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been definitely played a lot, and also I would say, what have I been listening to a lot? Honestly, it's been a lot of disco. Me and my family, we're all very much ABBA fans.
Yep.
There's a lot of shouting ABBA lyrics at each other. At least with me and my cousins.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Been on rediscovering my disco love. And when I say rediscovering, I mean just continuing to like disco.
Yeah, I dig it. Very cool. So, let's back up.
Okay.
So can you tell us a little bit about how long you've been in the DC area, and just, kind of broad strokes of your career as an artist over the past 2 decades?
I've been in the DC area officially since 2006. Growing up, my dad always lived here. So military brat, moving around a lot, always came home to DC. Yeah. But I went to college at the Corcoran, pre-GW, buying it. Just so if anyone knows my opinion on that.
That was subtle. That was very subtle.
Anyway, so officially myself being a DC resident since 2006, and I guess I graduated college and I didn't know what to do, really. I bartended and waited tables through college, so I kind of continued that journey as a millennial who had a lot of student loans with crazy high interest rates. And while waiting tables, I was working at Quarry House Tavern in Silver Spring, like right over the DC-Maryland state line. And these 2 ding-dongs sat at my table every Monday asking for all the free lettuce, tomato, and onion their hearts could have because they were poor artists themselves, Peter Chang and Brandon Hill. And we later found out that we lived around the corner from each other in Petworth. And I just started helping them out, like, here and there. We didn't learn that, the others did art until like a year after I'd been serving them, and it's like, oh, you guys do art? And I think it was like their first Submerged show or something like that, maybe second. And we were like, what? Like, just kind of like razzing each other, like, oh, you can't do anything, like whatever. And then we all work together. It's like, oh, we can all do something. This is really great. We work really well together.
Yeah, that's also very refreshing, because I feel like the first thing everybody does in the DMV is ask, what do you do?
Yeah.
Right? And even in the creative community, I feel like it's a point of connectivity less than, a networking ploy, but that's still pretty great that you guys had a friendship and witty banter and saw each other every week, but that was not even a thing that came up.
Yeah, it came up later. And then 2012, so I worked with them here and there, and then 2012 they did the Water Street project, and it was my first show after college. It was 2012, and just kind of consistently started working with them after that, and up until this year, I've worked with them, and those are some of my closest friends and my most trusted advisors. And I really made a lot of really great friendships and connections working with No Kings Collective, and they really kind of built me up, in a really, I think, kind of unique way. Just a lot of people don't get it. It was a really great experience. And it was also just really cool because they were learning themselves,
right,
so we were all kind of like in the same ship, know.
Yeah. They're great, but you've also done a lot of work outside of No Kings that I don't know that a lot of people in the city know about. I'd love for you to expand on that a little bit and talk about some of the other solo shows, other exhibits, other projects, other curatorial work that you've done. And then I have some of my own things to say about watching you from afar or moving through a shared office space over the years that I thought were pretty amazing. But go on.
My first solo show, which was my last solo show, I'm actually spacing on the year, but it was, I think, 2015. And that was at the Fridge Gallery in Southeast,
wow, yeah,
which was really cool. It was a really fun experience.
I've had so many cool spaces like that come through that you just forget we're ever there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of great people that came out of the Fridge, group too.
Yeah.
A lot of really cool cats. But and then from there, I used to host this. It was like a revolving pop-up art show, and it was all based around light. Because in college I made a lot of light boxes, and I enjoy signs. It's like definitely a big part of my work. It's like old sign, vintage, sign painting kind of a vibe. But it was called Responsive Light, and I think we had 4 of them in the end altogether. And the first one was at the Black Cat, and then after that they were all at Dodge City. And it was basically, I'd put out a call, people would tell me they wanted to participate, and I could either build the light boxes for them, because not everyone either knows what a light box is, or and I just did it at cost of materials because, again, I think art should be accessible, and that includes like people making work as well.
Yeah.
I don't think it should just be this exclusive cool kids club. And we even built walls for it, and the walls would move with us and stuff like that. And that was a lot of fun too. I'm very much like builder, installer, painter. Not great with promoting or social media, or I like structure, but like, don't tell me what to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like, you're very punk rock, I think, in your ideology.
That's very nice of you.
But also, you're somebody that's low key. You don't have to be in the limelight or the spotlight for people to see your intentionality and your talent and your work. It speaks for itself. And when I said before, No Kings is great, let's move on. They're dear friends of mine as well, and I know the guys. I mean, they speak so highly of you. And before I even got to know you, I feel like they have a great reputation for bringing in people that have become like family, right? And continuing to support each other over the years. But I remember, so just for our viewers, I was gonna say readers. I'm like, that's not right. For viewers, so I was the editor of District Fray magazine, and while I was at the Fray offices for 5 years, No Kings had been sharing office space and storage space with Fray, and so that's how I became friends with Pete and Brandon, and they were on one of my last On Tap magazine covers. We were acquired by Fray and then rebranded, and the friendship was born from there. And so on any given day, it was a little quieter during COVID, but especially that first year, I would just see Kate come in and out of the office at odd hours, and I was never scared because I was always there at odd hours because we were making a magazine and pulling crazy nights. And you were always in like coveralls, covered in paint, carrying gear that, in those days with the Fray team and sports and events, was usually the guys carrying all this stuff. And I remember everybody being like, who is this badass person? And it was just, I don't know. Yeah, and Edwin too, and then and Jason and everybody else. But it was just really fun to watch you come in and out of the space, and I could kind of get a sense of what project you've been working on, or Brandon and Pete would tell me what was going on. But my little love note to you is that I don't think that, obviously, I don't think women artists get the shine they deserve in general, much less in the city. And no matter how many, guys that we're friends with are there to support, it's still, the opportunities are not the same, and it's changing. And I think that Brandon and Pete have done a great job of helping amplify, and that's really important. But I also loved seeing, just like Sita, seeing you being out on the, I'm gonna use all the wrong words, but like the scaffolding, is that and just like, it's a cold day and you're covered up, and it's, you're doing it just like anybody else would, and you're not looking for any kind of attention around it either.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you have a million stories about this, but I remember the guys, especially Brandon, telling stories over the years of when you're, up painting something, people don't know that you're No Kings, or don't know that you're Kate or No Kitten Heels, right? And so they're just like, oh, this is just like a contractor painting a wall. And so they might say things that they wouldn't if they knew you were an artist in the city, or they don't treat you like you're, it's really interesting. So I think that like no frills, like I'm doing this because I love it, and I can do everything that a dude would do, and this is not like, I'm too girly for any of these things. And also it was a group effort, and it was a collective effort. So I mean, that to me is really, really important. But I also think that your solo work, and that's what we're here to talk about, is really, really special too. And this is exciting to me to see you kind of open this new chapter. Like you've beyond, you're far beyond the point of earning your, chops or whatever it is. And I think it's really cool to see you starting to do other work. So 20 minutes in, what's your medium? Sorry I didn't start with that. Jesus. That probably would have been helpful. My God.
Is everything.
Yeah. No.
If you can find it, I can do something with it.
You do murals. I know that.
Yeah.
Okay. And?
I thrift a lot. And I find stuff in alleys a lot, and I'm gifted a lot of, after 13 plus whatever years of bartending, I have a lot of weird old regulars that I love. Weird is fine, but I have like this like old regulars fan club like between like Silver Spring and DC that'll just like show up and bring me things like bazooka shells.
We should do like a whole series with them. That would be so fun.
Yeah.
Would they talk to us and and like bring you things like found objects and
Yeah,
stuff?
it's great. It's like
my gosh.
cats with dead
Love that.
mice,
Yeah.
only it's like usually dead people's stuff, and it's
Oh.
fantastic.
Oof. Okay. Yeah.
I have
Cool.
various boxes of bones that are labeled in my studio. I have
Wow.
a collection of mannequins in my studio.
This is like a episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark?
A little bit.
This is great. I'm here
Yeah.
for it. Okay.
But like watching Are You Afraid of the Dark as an adult, being like, man, these kids were terrible.
Yeah,
Like that
that's
wasn't
true.
a witch. That was just, Kate.
Look, on a Friday night when I was 7, it was scary. I always think about the mannequins and stuff, but that's wild. Cool.
Yeah.
So, and they've been doing that all these years, just continue to bring you stuff?
Yeah, still. I
That's so
haven't
rad.
bartended, I think, in like 3 or 4 years
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm still getting goodies. It's great.
Cool. So then it's multimedia where you take those goodies and craft.
Yeah, I will take them apart and put them together with other things. I paint on them. I really enjoy like knickknacks and shadow boxes and things like that. I like creating like kind of like a slice of like a memory,
Yeah.
sort of, Tchotchkes are definitely my love language. So if you got anywhere tchotchkes, bring them to me.
Yeah. Do you ever go out to Luckett's?
I
In
don't know what
Leesburg?
that is.
Okay, I have a lot of places to tell you about in Fauquier County and Loudoun, but Luckett's it's literally like what you're describing, but on steroids. And they just have these indoor and outdoor areas where it's every antique, weird, vintage item you can think of, and they do a big annual fair. Where like the last one, I was hanging out with like a alien that looked like from Mars Attacks, was from the 50s, and it was taller than you, and it was just this big yard item, like things like that, like just very
Perfect.
strange
Perfect.
things. Yes, but okay, I'm excited. I'm sorry, I'm not thinking about like fun things I want to do
Think
with
of
you.
that one later.
Yeah, filing that one away for later. And so tell us about the shows. But in the show, are you painting? Are you doing more of like the found object tchotchke,
For Earworm? Mm-hmm.
Back to Earworm.
Back to my girl Earworm.
which can be catchy songs that we like or don't like?
Yeah.
To clarify.
Yeah, anything that's stuck in your head, really.
Yeah.
Anything that's stuck in your head is like, I think, on the table for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
What's in the show? There's not as many tchotchkes in this one. It's probably the first show that I haven't really put a tchotchke in,
Aw.
like ever. But there's plenty of found crap in this show. I love
Yeah.
it. There's painted windows, and it's all text, really. It's all text-based because we're talking about words that we're carrying with us. So fun typeface, there's some sign painting, there's like hand painting, there's some stencil work.
Yep.
I just really, I like finding things and then just like putting cool, weird crap on it. So yeah, it's a lot of, there's like some food trays that I'm painting on. There's some skateboards that I'm painting on.
Cool.
There's some like framed pieces. Yeah,
Are there any pieces? Is everything for sale?
everything's for sale.
Cool. Are there any pieces that are like more near and dear to your heart because whatever the inspiration was, that particular emotional or sonic earworm, it like really spoke to you, and you secretly hope it doesn't sell because or actually I shouldn't say that. You really hope it sells, but you hope it sells, you sell it to someone that you can go see it in their home or something like that. Like anything that just really resonated with you.
I'm a pretty sensitive, sentimental person, so
They're all your babies.
they're all kind of like each kind of, most of them are related to a song, so it's like some are song lyrics, some are just like quips or, again, things you think about.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like music and like places definitely like go hand in hand, a lot for me. So it's like anytime I kind of work on a lot of things at once. So when I do work on a lot of things at once, I'll go back to it and like kind of re-listen to the song as I'm working on
Yeah,
it. You know
yeah.
what I mean? But I don't know. I guess that's a long-winded way of saying I don't think I have a favorite. I like them all, just kind of different.
Yeah.
Yeah, for what they are, and yeah.
How many pieces?
It keeps changing. I keep adding pieces. Right now, I'm at 18.
Cool.
I think that it'll probably end up being 15
Cool.
to 17.
Okay. Maybe 16. Who's to say?
There might be 16.
15 and up, maybe.
Yes.
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 Around 15.
We'll say around 15.
Let's do that. Tell me about opening night. What's the party? What's the plan? Saturday, March 16th.
Saturday,
'Cause now
March
I know my
6th.
calendar in my
Saturday,
brain.
March 16th from 7:30 to 11.
Yeah.
It'll be me, and I'll wear something really cute with all my friends that'll probably wear something really cute, and we're all gonna celebrate things that I make because I have not really spent a lot of time on personal work, as you said, like, maybe focusing back on my own work again. So I just really want it to be like a fun party. My friend Tarek's going to be DJing, correct? Yes. Pharaoh Hack.
Yeah.
So
Who's great, by the way.
Yeah.
I've danced many a night to his DJ nights at Showtime. Apparently, he sometimes tells people that that version of me is wild, and I don't even know what that means because I don't feel like I'm a wild person. But I also didn't know he knew I was there for any of those. But he is a great DJ, and his record collection is fucking fabulous. So,
also a great collector of things.
Yes.
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 And his girlfriend, too. An
yeah.
excellent collector of things.
Yeah, cool.
Yes.
So we'll have good tunes.
Yeah, we'll have good
Nice.
tunes. And yeah, I just want people to show up and have a really good time and, like, I don't know, maybe see something that sticks with them, if you will. And, you know, maybe leave the party feeling a little bit better.
Yeah.
Maybe a sense of community, if you will. I think
Oh.
that'd be really cool.
Cool. Yeah.
I think there's going to be a lot of artists there, so I think it would be a great opportunity to meet some really, really cool people.
And it runs through the 30th, right?
It runs, so
What-
yes, the closing the closing event will be on the 30th, where
Cool.
I'll release some new merch.
Cool.
And the show comes down the 4th.
Okay.
So you really have till the 3rd of
Yeah.
April, yeah.
And when can people come in between opening and closing to, you know, check out your art and buy something or?
Daytime, Legacy Gallery's open, I think, from 10 to 10, right? 10 to 8?
Sunday through Thursday, and then Friday, Saturday, we're open till 10.
Okay. 10 to 8. And then Friday, Saturdays, 10 to 10. Just too many numbers. Did I fuck that up?
I don't know, but
Ten-
we can, that's good. Okay,
10
we got
10
it.
twice.
Hey.
All right. The freaking weekend, it's 10 10,
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah, cool. And will you be there at any other points, or you're kind of there at the beginning and the end, and everything else is?
I'll
just
be
up
there
for-
at the beginning and the end, and times in between. I'll be popping in probably
Cool,
like
cool.
every couple of days, every other day, or something like that.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah.
What about commissioned work? Do you do that often?
I do commissioned work. I would
Cool.
love to do more commissioned work. It's something that I've only really done like a handful of times for like personal friends, and it's been fun every time. I want to do more commissioned work for sure, because it's kind of like a weird sort of like collab,
Yeah.
you know?
But you've painted, I mean, I know you've painted many murals, but you've also painted like the Disco Mary Collective pop-up before.
Yes, in Blagden Alley.
Yeah, exactly. Before Columbia Room was gone. And that was fabulous. Like, I feel like you've done smaller, I wouldn't call it commissioned work, but where
Yeah.
your work is in spaces, but it's not
Yeah.
necessarily like a massive, outdoor mural situation.
Right. Yeah, I really enjoy interior. I don't want to say interior design because that's like a completely different animal.
Painting interiors,
Like
shall we say?
interior design.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah, we'll put a little hyphen in there. Or like a D.
I'm
apostrophe
interior
sign.
design.
Yeah.
I'm not,
Question.
but I'll LARP as one. And yeah, that was the biggest kind of like cohesive space that I had done, and that was a lot of fun because it's
It had you written all over it. so
yeah,
very
it was a
much
lot
your
of like
aesthetic.
weird barf pink that I just love.
And it was like orange. It was like a coral and a pink. It's actually not too dissimilar from some of these colors.
Definitely
and
my
disco
color
elements. Though.
Yeah, definitely my color
Seriously,
palette of
disco
like
elements,
jewel
yeah.
tone,
Yeah.
like kind of rotten but sweet colors.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my vibe.
Cool. So I just lost my train of thought because I was going to say something about John Waters in Baltimore, and that has nothing to do with anything right now. We'll talk about it later.
Well,
Unless
if
you
you're
wanna
going to talk about
it.
John Waters, I have something to say.
Please go on. Actually, now I want to know.
Well, it's not really anything that crazy. John Waters has a really great book. It's
Ah.
called Role Models.
I don't think I've read that. Okay.
It's an easy read.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's
He's
kind
great.
of like a sort of encyclopedia of like cool pop culture, weird background
He's
stories of
amazing.
his life.
Yeah.
I could not recommend it enough.
Cool.
Super easy read.
Maybe
And
I'll bring it
it's-
to the Poconos.
Bring it to the Poconos.
Bring it to the
Bunk
Poconos.
beds in the Poconos.
Yeah,
Best
we're
friends
going
forever.
to the Poconos. I feel like it's clueless. We're going to Melrose.
We are
Yeah.
going to Melrose.
Yeah, no, I haven't read a book on vacation in a long time. Cool. Okay, that's a good plug.
Mm-hmm.
He's also one of those people that I would have died to interview. It was like one of those checking the box. Same with like Cindy Wilson from the B-52s, and in both cases, and I can name a lot of others, but I thought, they would say something weird, or I could get them to talk to me about something from like way back when, and it was like the most vanilla, like, I do this, and like I could have been, like an AI bot, like in
Yeah.
terms of what I got out of them. But I think they're just so over being interviewed and so tired that they're
Yeah.
like, we don't need to do this, you know? They were perfectly lovely, but I was just like, I just want some weird nugget, you know? Outside of the solo exhibit at Legacy, which is why we're here today, and everyone's going to come hang out with us on Saturday. It's going to be great. Do you have anything that you can plug that you are working on in the near future? Or are there any like wish list things that you'd like to work on in the city beyond just commissioned work? Like what would be what's something you'd like to do next?
I definitely want to do more collab work this year with a bunch of different artists. So if you're an artist and you like my work, come hang out with me and let's make some work together. The next thing that I'm working on is going to be, I'm live painting. It is called Pink in the Park.
Right. Oh, cool.
Yeah, and it's all lady
National Landing
femme.
bid, right?
I'm pretty sure it's a national landing. Yeah. But all female artists.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Nia Kaltura Calhoun will be in there.
Yeah.
And Kimchi Juice will be in there. And I know there's like 3 more, and ladies forgive me. But yeah, I think it's going to be a really solid crew. I'm excited.
Cool.
So
Do you know what you'll be painting?
Not yet. I got to get through this show first. And
Yep,
then
yep.
the 17th, I'm going to start designing.
Okay, cool. So Pink in the Park.
Yes.
And everything else we're just manifesting. It's you wanting to collaborate and,
Yeah.
you know.
I want to make a lot of work. I feel like the pandemic kind of like made me shrink myself a little bit, you know, and just like didn't know where I kind of fit, you know? So I
Yeah.
felt like I really focused on like work and skill sets and things like that. So I'm really good at painting other people's stuff. And I feel like made myself the back burner a little bit, you know? And so with this, I'm like, what am I doing?
Main
What?
character energy.
Yeah. It's like, what the hell am I,
Yeah.
the hell is going on here?
Yeah, I like that hair flip.
Yeah, thank you.
That sold
Thank
the
you.
point. I
Thank
think.
you.
Yeah, well, it's time.
Yeah.
It's time. And I mean, and there's nothing wrong with having that skill set in place because now you can, you know, use that and be creative. And obviously, we talk about this a lot, but I'm in a similar boat. And it's kind of, I think it's very exciting and overwhelming to have a lot of opportunity to go in different directions.
Yeah.
But I feel like so many of us are in that boat. And by us, I mean people in the creative industry. I am not an artist. I like to amplify artists' voices, but you know, just being in media and storytelling, like I think there's a lot of people that are hungry for a next chapter and different types of connection and you know creative experiences, and so let's go.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I mean, I want to say something though.
Oh, okay.
Like, you don't. I want to point out, like, yeah, the creative community, sure, but like, you know, creative community isn't just artists either.
True.
You know?
Very true. Yeah.
So I just want to say, like,
Thank you.
you can say we.
Thank
You know, because it
Yeah.
is like it is a real community, you know, and I think you know, as Brandon Hill always says, high tides raise ships. So, you know, we should all work in this together.
Yeah. He's got
Yeah.
a lot of good isms.
He's got a lot of good isms.
Yeah, the real recognizes real one was a good one.
Yeah.
That one really resonated with me from the cover story because that's the same kind of thing. It's like
Yeah.
somebody does something with intentionality.
I think
Yeah.
another really good one that might be a little bit lewd.
Go for it.
You ain't fucking till you fucking.
Wow, I like that
Basically,
one too.
it ain't real till it's real.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah, and he always apologizes before he says it, so he's like his own HR in that
Yeah.
sense. He's like, I don't want to be lewd or rude or anything, and excuse me, but
but
you know,
then I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
Actually, did he ever use the lobster metaphor with you?
yes.
Okay. I wonder how often he says that to people, or do you think
He
it's just you and
doesn't,
me?
no.
Do you think we're just his crustaceans? Are we his crustacean friends?
I'll take that. I love a good crustacean.
We should call him after this and phone it in and be like,
Mm-hmm.
because I have not shared that with anyone, but I think it's totally worth sharing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember? Like, I can say what I think he said about lobsters, or would you like to say it? Let's find out. Actually, let's do this. What did he tell you about lobsters?
I don't know. It was really long-winded.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so all right, so he was talking about change, and sometimes change.
Oh, right. And the
Yeah.
lobster, it's gotta like be completely like against its shell, like it's about to like burst out of its shell, right?
Yeah, like most crustaceans.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna do this every time I say crustaceans.
You know, crustaceans.
Yeah, exactly. And also, like
the handshake.
for those
the
of you who
handshake.
don't know what we're talking about, which is probably nobody. Sorry, Brandon Hill, who is runs All Day Murals and used to be one half of No Kings Collective. He worked at the Baltimore Aquarium for the better part of a decade, right?
Yeah, I mean it was his first job.
Yeah.
He did it. He equates the Baltimore Aquarium to why he's so good at talking to people.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he also knows like a lot of random facts about like how to like tuck up a stroller and like a million other things. But I'm assuming, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I thought maybe the reason he leaned into the lobster metaphor was because of many years watching sea creatures at the aquarium. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about
Yeah,
that.
maybe he'll go to the Mermaid Coney Island Festival with us. That'd be cool. I don't
He,
know.
he loves anything weird. He would want
Yeah.
to whether he worked at the aquarium or not.
So okay, so he said that lobsters have to literally, they're like like a hermit crab, they have like those sad little slug butts or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So they start to outgrow a shell and they get out too early and they just like lay there like that and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
and sometimes they don't make it because they like jumped out too soon or couldn't find another home. So apparently, lobsters are the opposite, where they just like. I mean, they're not hiding in a shell, but like their exoskeleton starts to break and they're still like holding on. Like I'm just gonna keep trying to be in this like size 2 pant when I can't, like there's like, and so he was basically, he said it in a very articulate way that I should have voice memoed myself or written down. Sorry, Brandon, you can repeat it to us. But it was that, some people will wait as long as possible to dig in and not because they're afraid of change, but just because they're committed to what they're doing. But then when that happens, they're ready to go.
Yeah.
Because they were like dug in, they were stubborn, they were like, I'm doing this, and then if they're forced into a new scenario, they just bring all this. I'm not going to say main character energy. I'm going to say that's an earworm. Now it's like stuck in my head,
Yeah.
like it's a phrase where I'm
It's
like
that lobster energy.
It is that lobster energy,
Yeah.
where like you can live to be 100, you're tough as fuck, and sometimes you end up in a pot, but I don't know. Hopefully
Yeah.
not. But yeah, I just love that, and that's kind of the point. Is I feel like. In the very vague gray area way we can do, you and I are very similar in that we both went through a change that maybe we knew was time, but we weren't totally prepared for, and we're leaning into what that means, and I think it's really exciting.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited for you, and obviously, you have our support with everything that you do. But I have to end on like a DC question. I think you mentioned the creative community and being here since 2006. You are one of us officially. I always say I grew up in the area, and I always say anyone who's actually lived here more than 5 to 7 years is one of us because it's so transient. Which is kind of sad to say, like, you're not really a local, but kind of. I'm always excited when people dig in or they come back. Just maybe like tell me a little bit why DC feels like the right place to be as an artist for you and this next chapter of your career. Like why do you love DC? Why does it feel like a good home as an artist right now? Or like, what do you think about or maybe you don't think that and you were like, just kidding, Monica, I'm gonna break your heart and move away, because that could happen too.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't do it though, please.
I'll think about it.
Okay.
Why I love DC? I don't know. I moved around a lot growing up. I said earlier, I went to 11 schools. I was a military brat. And so going to college was my first time really being somewhere, on my terms and what I was doing. So it's like, I don't want to leave because I've spent all this time with my other friends who are artists who are also, we're all struggling. So, we're all trying to make it work. And it's like, I would feel like I'd be doing myself a disservice if I left, and, DC is a cruel lover. I'll say that, she's I think the 4th greenest city in the country.
I like that she's she.
Of course
I
she's
agree.
she.
Yes.
Yes. And, it's a really incredible space, but unfortunately DC, I also feel like is kind of just started like tearing down, build it up. So we're also, I feel like, losing a lot of these things.
Yeah.
So it's like, if I leave too, if the people who are here making this scene, this artistic scene, this creative scene, everyone's just going to go to LA or New York or anywhere else because it's easier, because of whatever. Like, it's not going to be there if you're not going to build it, and I want to continue to build it. And I'm not done with her yet, like, I'm going to suckle from that teat till she's dry. And when she's dry, maybe I'll leave.
Wow. Well, what a quote to end on. But I do want to add in that, you were saying you feel like you'd be doing... wait, you said... I'm going to screw this up, the inverse. You said it'd be doing you a disservice if you left? I think you'd be doing your artist friends in the community a disservice if you left.
I think I'd be doing
Did I say
myself
that?
a disservice.
Right, and I'm
Yeah.
saying you're also doing us a disservice.
Oh, I
if
see
you
what
go.
you're saying.
That's what I was
Yes,
trying to
yes.
say. Because you are also somebody who understands that we were just talking about this last night, but the community, we need to support one another, and it's crazy how small DC is, and obviously in creative circles, and there's just no room for competition or bullshit, and to the extent that we can cheerlead and champion one another in an intentional way, even if it's from afar, even if there's certain people you don't want to work with or whatever's not staying in different lanes, you can still be kind and you can still be diplomatic and objective, and I don't think that everyone has that skill set, and
Yeah.
you do. And I made that joke about how I'm like, hey, if you've had under 5 people that have ever been like, oh, like Kate Burwood, and just like grumples about something, that's like, everybody's a little, in DC, and like I feel like everybody is just like nothing but rave reviews about your work ethic, who you are as a human, how you show up for your community, and how you give back to community. So like we need
Thanks,
you.
man. Thanks, man. I
it's
can
true.
guarantee you that's not true that everyone's saying that, but I'm certainly trying.
Well, yeah, and everybody has their own
Yeah.
thing, but in general in the community, I really hope you know that that's how you're received, and we're lucky
Thanks,
to have
man.
you. And so,
Guys.
yeah, keep sucking from the teat, suck it dry.
Yeah, I'm gonna suck it dry, and then maybe I'll just go to bed.
yeah. That's probably a good thing to do at the end of the day. Well, anything else you want to say while you're on air?
Crustaceans?
Crustaceans.
Come
that's
to
the
my
end.
show, March 16th, 7:30 to 11. Meet some new friends. Meet me. Meet Monica.
Crustaceans.
Crustaceans. These are crustaceans.
We'll ask Brandon to come talk about lobsters.
Yeah, this is the lobster. I've painted a lobster.
Will you
And
paint
on
me a
that,
lobster?
I'll paint a lobster.
Okay, my hands are tired.